na yote imetokamana na masuala kwamba wale wanaokwenda kutuwakilisha ni watu ambao wanakwenda kutafuta kazi, sio watu wanaokwenda kuangalia yale masuala ambayo yanaangaziwa na bunge lile. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimebahatika kusafiri kwenda Zanzibar na Pemba mwezi uliokisha, na nikaona kwamba kuna mambo mengi ambayo bunge hili linaweza kuangazia ili kurahisisha biashara baina ya Kenya na Tanzania, ama biashara baina ya nchi tatu nchi 7 za Afrika Mashariki. Mheshimiwa Spika, kwa hivyo wale ambao tutawachagua Mheshimiwa Spika siku ya Alhamisi lazima wawe ni watu ambao wana maono ya kupeleka bunge hili mbele, sio kutafutia watu kazi. Hata kama mtu ndio mara yake ya kwanza kuchaguliwa Mheshimiwa Spika, lakini ikiwa ana maono ya kupeleka bunge hili mbele, anafaa kupewa kazi hiyo. Kuna wengi ambao wamechaguliwa na Mheshimiwa katika bunge hili la Senate mwaka huu hawajakuwa maseneta, lakini tumeona zile kazi ambazo wameweza kufanya zinaridhisha kwamba wamechaguliwa kusaidia nchi hii kwenda mbele. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also like to support. We know that when we talk about East African community, the thoughts of Pan-Africanism are realized. I would wish to ask the members also, when they go to elections, that they should look, and I want to repeat this, look at people who will be able to put the face of Kenya in that parliament. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank all members in this committee who assisted me as a co-chair to make this report. And Mr. Speaker, my apologies to the House. I was not there, and Senator Beatrice Ogola was very kind to move it on my behalf. Mr. Speaker, I had to go to my county having a visitor in the name of Bill Gates, who one time when in Seattle going as parliament, I visited his office, made an invitation, and luckily he came to Kenya, and therefore my apologies to the House. The main issue in this particular report we found could be ideal for consideration in future. First of all, whatever happens to a single state happens to all member states. And secondly, one time when this process was abused by the state of Kenya, there was a court case at the Eastern African Court of Justice. And I was lucky to be one of the lawyers there. And the court directed and ended up with what we have now. That's why we have to choose out of 3. Instead of select, there has to be an election, Mr. Speaker. But then we have to balance gender, youth, and also continuity, Mr. Speaker. One of the problems with the Kenyan election has been that we remove everybody, and then we have no institutional memory in Yela. So I'll urge members while making a vote and supporting this to look at that consideration so that we can have continuity in the Eastern African Legislative Assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sigei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support the report. And I would love, Mr. Speaker, from the very onset to indicate to the House that the East Africa Legislative Assembly has attracted a good number of people who are, I believe, all qualified. From the report, Mr. Speaker, 348 people applied, 69 were nominated, 9 are required to be elected tomorrow. I believe, Mr. Speaker, this House will be capable of picking from among the list that we've been given people who are qualified, who will push the agenda of Kenya in the East Africa Legislative Assembly. I urge the members from this House to do that which is objective tomorrow when it comes to voting, so that we send the team on Thursday. Pardon me, Mr. Speaker, the election will be on Thursday, I believe. And Mr. Speaker, I was giving an indication that I urge this House to send to the East Africa Legislative Assembly people who are qualified to advance the interest of this country. And Mr. Speaker, as I conclude on my support to the report, the committee has proposed that a framework for formal campaigns be placed in the 2017 rules for this particular position. And I urge that the House, once it is done with the election process, can also formulate a process where candidates can be able to have formal processes to conduct their campaigns, so that they make it easy, so that we also can get an opportunity to interrogate whatever they are seeking to go and do for us as a country in the East Africa Legislative Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion. Thank you. I'm fine. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support this motion. And I want to urge the members to make sure that we actually appoint, or rather vote, for the right candidates, because it is important that whoever we send to East Africa, they will represent the face of the country, and there would be people who are experienced, committed, with a constitutional memory, whereby they would be able to move the IALA forward. Mr. Speaker, again, it's important to give opportunity to all the applicants, because there should not be barriers whereby somebody, if it's connected to any political affiliation or any political kingpin, for them to be denied the opportunity. It is important, if somebody qualifies, we are all grown-ups, or they are all grown-ups, once you are over 18, you have your own life. So people should not be denied opportunities, or their dreams to be shattered because simply they are connected to a certain politician. So please, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge the House to make sure they give the opportunity to everybody who deserves the opportunity to be able to serve in IALA, Mr. Speaker. I think with those few remarks, I support. Thank you.